Hello everyone, and this is my Java tutorial number 2. And in this tutorial we will learn how to get user input. So if you see the screen right now, you will see that we have the code from the earlier tutorial. And what we're going to do is we're going to modify this, and we're going to include a user input. So what we're going to do is, instead of hello world, we're going to say hello user. Okay? And now we're going to ask a question. System.out.println, how are you doing? And if you saw a feature right now, when I misspelled doing, there would be a yellow line under it, and that's another nice feature, so you get your good spelling in place. So now that we've asked the question, we're gonna run the program, but when we do, you'll see our input does not do anything. We can say good, bad, horrible, awesome, whatever, but the program does not have access to what we typed because it already is finished. So we can type like hello, and in IntelliJ it won't even let you because the program is finished. So this text box has been made read-only. However, there's a way to get some input in. So one way is using system.in.read. However, system.in.read does throw an IO exception, which we will get to, but so does the other method. But it returns an integer. And do we want an integer representing our input? Well, not really. We want a string. So we're going to say bye-bye to that. Instead, we're going to use something called a buffered reader. Now, you may be thinking, what is a buffered reader? So we will actually explain what a buffered reader is in a later tutorial, but for now, think of it as something that's reading from a stream, and which the stream in this case is the standard in stream. Whatever the user is typing in, when he hits enter, the buffered reader will be able to read. So now we're going to declare it by doing buffered reader buffer, or whatever variable name you want, equals new buffered reader. And it'll require a reader input. So what we're going to do is we're going to say new input stream reader, and it requires an input stream, which is system.in. As you can see, it's of type input stream. So we declare this. Now, if you are used to C++, you will be like, where is the pointer? And you'd be really confused right now. And if you do not know C++, you'd be like really confused on what I'm talking about. So we will go over this. This is basically how you declare an object. And this object is of type buffered reader. So buffered reader buffer is equal to new buffered reader, new input stream reader, system.in. So all it's pretty much doing is it's creating a new buffered reader that reads from the system.in stream. So now that we've created this, we will do buffer.read returns an int, but readLine returns an integer. Now you're going to see it's going to say unhandled exception, java.io.io exception. Now, for now, ignore this. And what we're going to do is string str equals buffer.readline. We're going to actually handle this exception, and we're going to talk a little bit about exception handling. But first, what we're going to do is then system.out.println, and we're going to say the user is feeling and plus str. And whatever you typed in, well, let's say you typed in good. Hello user, how are you doing? Good. I'm doing good. Then you'll be saying the user is feeling good. Or you say, how are you doing? Fine. The user is feeling fine. So that makes sense grammatically, of course, and it will work. Now, if we were to try and build this right now, it's going to cause a problem, because we can't just randomly ignore the exception that it's thrown. So what we can do is, there's a whole bunch of ways. We could throw the exception, or we could catch it with a try-catch statement. So we first have to explain exceptions, and in a later episode we may explain errors and throwable. So basically what an exception is it's a subclass of throwable, which is anything that can be thrown in quotes. So a throwable consists of all exceptions and errors, because errors and exceptions are thrown by the virtual machine and can be caught in a catch statement. Now, this may sound really complicated to you if you're not used to programming, or if you have no programming whatsoever experience. So what basically I mean is, an exception is when something goes wrong. Yes, when something goes wrong. So your code can be perfect, but that doesn't mean that the program will be awesome and no problems will. Hopefully that is the case, but a Java throws an unhandled exception error because there is an exception that could be thrown, like a buffer.readline could throw an exception if the stream is closed. Now this won't happen for the standard input, but if we're working with sockets and other kinds of streams, like file streams and stuff, which we will handle in a later episode, you will have times when this will throw an exception. So the easiest way is, go here and say throws exception, and boom, it went away. Also, if you don't want to do that, a more safer way is you highlight all of this code. You're going to go with surround with try catch, and boom, you've gotten yourself a try catch statement, which is nice with IntelliJ, where it'll generate a try catch, so you don't have to type this in. And that's basically it. So now that we've handled that, let's hit run, and you can say, hello user, how are you doing? Fine. The user is feeling fine. Boom. That is how you use user inputs. Kind of cool, right? So that is it for now. Stay tuned.